to Risen 3 is the biggest Piranha Bytes game to date. Choose from one of 3 different factions to pledge allegiance to, which has consequences for the quest line. Offers you hundreds of quests to tackle, making the game twice as big as its predecessor. Which path are you going to take?
Let's go back to the roots again. The game does, in fact, do that very poorly by shoving copy and paste quests, events and NPCs from Gothic 1 and 2 into the game, while dumbing them down even more than Risen 2. There are so many more issues with this particular topic, like the fact that no one has their previous personalities as they've been changed for the worse. Like Patty, who got breast implants and her personal quest is literally to be a gold digger. The exception of this is Inquisitor Mendoza, the only companion who is evil.
Oh, save me your stupid jokes. Let me know if you want something, otherwise, go and die.
By choosing certain dialogue options, you gain or lose soul points. If you have 70 or more, evil companions will leave your crew. If you have less than 30, then 2 other companions will leave you. This moral system is like most of Piranha Bytes' gimmicky gameplay mechanics. A good idea, but it has a surface-level implementation and doesn't influence anything major except whether or not 3 more Shadow Lords spawn. Speaking of which, Shadow Lords are the strongest enemies in the game, but that has no meaning at all. No matter what you use, everything depends on timing, as the factor of positioning has been mostly removed thanks to a dodge roll that grants invincibility, and because each attack enables Pro Skater mode. The timing of your attacks has also been changed, because all you do is decide the amount of time you want to charge. The only punishment that exists for this system is when you button mash, because then you need longer to attack. But what this boils down to is that you do the same attack rhythm over and over and over again, which also allows you to abuse the knockback of the system and kill any enemy without skilling any ability. The overall amount of weapons has been reduced in favor of the returning magic system, and this is where the guilds come into play. The demon hunters want to kill demons, voodoo pirates kill demons, and the guardians want to create a weapon with a magic reactor, but eventually they kill demons. Each of them has a handful of exclusive quests that you can do at the very moment you join the guild. The story is not influenced by the guilds, and neither do they do anything that isn't superficial. In each guild you can learn the same skills with a few unnecessary exceptions, and you only gain access to visually different armor. It is the spells where the guilds differ the most. Demon hunters can buff themselves to ridiculous degrees, voodoo pirates can cast poison or manipulate enemies, and the guardians are basically high-level mages from Gothic 3. Immune. A story! You play as the never-before-mentioned brother of Pudenda, who is the never-before-mentioned son of Captain Sackbeard, and after the prologue, you die. One time skip later, the shaman Bo, what the hell, revives you and swears his loyalty to you. In Chapter 2, you join a guild to assemble a fleet against a bunch of ghost ships. Nothing more to add there. In Chapter 3, you need to gather the mages Zacharias, Eldrick, and of course. Then look for a good ritual place. Here you have your first boss fight against a giant spider that spawns more spiders. Then the big plot twist. The entire ritual was a trap laid by Necroloth. Another plot twist. The other mandatory crew member was a traitor. You find him as he summons an Ore Titan. Here you have to throw 5 chains at glowy spots and then he just disappears. The traitor tells you the location of the ghost fleet and you go there to destroy it. After the climatic battle that is literally just the fucking tutorial, you find a map on that goes for Necroloth's island. You go there, bond with your lost spirit, oh yeah, that was a thing by the way, and kill Necroloth, who is just a Shadow Lord with more health, and he can spawn demons, and he has a new attack. But in all of gaming, there was rarely an ending cutscene of such technical marvel. And that was, unedited, the story of Risen 3, stretched out to be a 30-hour adventure. The ship raids are just monstrosities of technical fuck-ups, and your crew doesn't even fight accordingly to your guilds. The only awesome part of this are the sea monster battles, which not only work well, but are actually really fun once you properly understand how it works. Too bad they only appear 3 times per playthrough. There's literally nothing more to them, and naval combat doesn't have a tutorial, so it's thrown at you out of nowhere if you like it or not. Eat this, bitch! The graphics to me look a bit less appealing than Risen 2. It's mostly due to the inconsistent voice acting, of which your protagonist is among the worst.
I'll check the northwest for you. Maybe I'll find your phantom monster.
And the weird animations. Overall, it is technically better than Risen 2, but that doesn't mean that Risen 3 doesn't have its fair share of problems. The music is good, but also more repetitive. The fantastic ending theme of Risen 2 has been ruined here, because for each greater success, a very small portion of the fanfare plays over and over again.
Isn't it about time you inspected your crew? Isn't it about time you inspected your crew? Isn't it about time you inspected your crew? You should speak to your crew.
The quests are still as limited as Risen 2, but offer more solutions akin to Gothic 3, which doesn't mean that there are any consequences, or that you have any player freedom. The leveling system has been updated, but it's still basically the same as Risen 2. Fast traveling points are even more scarce than Risen 2 due to a larger world. Sprinting is limited, which I cannot f***ing grasp as to why that is. And it always forces me to turn into a parrot and fly everywhere out of boredom. Exploration is far and few in between, but overall not useful, considering that you're broken as soon as you start the game. There's also still no punishment for attacking others or stealing. The minigames are either too long or copied from Risen 2, like about 25% of the content in this game. However, Risen 3 just wants to cut corners and doesn't do anything substantial with it like Gothic 2 did. At least there are a bunch of comfort features. Overall, Risen 3 was worth the $5, but I'm so f***ing done with this franchise. Rarely was I ever this bored when playing a game that includes Sonic and the Black Knight. Piranha Bytes, I think you should just take the naval combat and make a game out of that, instead of proving for the second time that you have no idea what back to the roots actually means. Risen 3 is painfully average. The good is easily outweighed by the bad, but the simple fact that you can actually play the game without tearing your hairs out actually makes it better than Risen 2.